India's infrastructure story is entering a bold new chapter where ambition meets engineering excellence. At the ET Now Global Business Summit 2026, one of the most remarkable symbols of this transformation took the center stage, the Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link, which is also called USBRL. A project carved through the formidable Himalayas, built across seismic terrain and designed to connect the Kashmir Valley with the rest of India through all-weather rail connectivity. From the world's highest railway arch bridge across the Chenab River to dozens of tunnels piercing through complex Himalayan geology, USBRL stands as a defining milestone in India's infrastructure journey. In this special episode, policymakers, railway leaders and engineering experts come together to reflect on the vision, innovation and execution that transformed one of the world's most complex railway projects from a dream into reality. The event started with the welcome address by Krishnamurthy Subramanian, Executive Chairman, Afcons Infrastructure.
USBRL was always more than a railway line. It was a historic step towards national integration and inclusive growth for Jammu and Kashmir. Today, it stands as a shining example of how government, project authorities, and construction industry can achieve together when united by purpose. In my more than 40 years of experience in infrastructure and construction industry, I can say with certainty there has not been a project like USBRL. The 272-kilometer railway line built through some of the most difficult Himalayan terrain, challenging the very limits of engineering knowledge and human endurance. Just look at the sheer scale and the complexity of this project, which reflects India's growing engineering prowess. The Chenab Bridge, the world's highest railway bridge, taller than the Eiffel Tower. The Anji Bridge, India's first cable-stayed railway bridge. And 119 kilometers of tunnels, 943 bridges across steep valleys and rugged slopes. These are not just numbers. They are monuments to human ingenuity and the power of unbreakable spirit, proving that with true dedication, nothing is impossible. This effort brought through together India's finest, the Northern Railway, IRCON, KRCL, IITs, DRDO, GSI, RDSO, contractors, designers, suppliers along thousands of engineers, workers who push the boundaries of possibility. On behalf of Afcons, I extend my sincere gratitude and thanks to the Ministry of Railways for entrusting us with this responsibility of such an importance. And thank you for joining us today in the celebration of USBRL. Welcoming once again. Thank you.
In his inaugural address, Anurag Sachan, ex-Chief Administrative Officer USBRL, ex-MD DFCCIL, and Independent Director at Afcons Infrastructure, opined on the topic of strategic vision, USBRL's role in national integration. Here are some takeaways.
USBRL stands for Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link project. It's a national project, 272 kilometers long. But to describe this project in terms of kilometer will be an understatement. Because the kind of project it has, you just cannot say that it is just 272 kilometer line. It has a lot of history behind this. I consider it a privilege and honor to be able to represent the contribution of Indian Railways and many of the officers towards a project that many of my railway seniors and colleagues and myself, it's very close to our heart, this particular project. Consider, today we all feel proud to be a humble part of this magnificent project. US project is what I call an engineering marvel. In its true sense, I can say with conviction that such projects are executed once in a century. The USBRL is not just a railway line, it is a century-old dream, finally became a reality, symbolizing India's engineering prowess and commitment to national integration. Once again, I would like to congratulate Indian Railways, Konkan Railway, IRCON, Afcons, and all other stakeholders to complete this magnificent project. I would also like to thank the Times Group for organizing this wonderful program. Thank you very much.
Next in line was a high-level strategic dialogue where railway stalwarts, policymakers and infrastructure leaders unpacked the engineering challenges, project execution strategies and collaborative efforts that made USBRL possible. Giridhar Rajagopalan, Deputy Managing Director Afcons Infrastructure, also opined on the topic of USBRL from dream to realization, engineering India's infrastructure future. Take a look.
Logistics, yes, on these projects, not only Chenab, USBRL would be a nightmare. But I think at appropriate stages in the project, the people who were concerned or who were associated with the projects did take some correct decisions. For example, Northern Railway, Konkan Railway and IRCON together had already created a basic road up to certain key locations from where the balance was left to each contractor to build. There were tracer paths, as they call it, where people walk or goats go around. And those are the actually, God-given survey lines on which the roads can be developed. They are widened, they are developed. 35,000 tons of steel to be fabricated. We had to do a lot of micro-planning on the drawing boards. What sort of items can be prefabricated outside and brought to the site? What could be their sizes? What would necessarily need to be created at the project site? I would say there was a lot of collaboration between our designers, our people who were developing the methods, as well as the clients, to collaboratively work. And one team which is not being talked about here is the Border Roads Organization. They played a superb role in helping us because what we did, all the elements that we wanted to fabricate out had two constraints. One is what is the length we could carry. So we did mock-ups. And when the mock-ups were being brought to the site, BRO personnel and our personnel used to walk along with those trucks and trim or put markings as where what hill slopes have to be trimmed when the final product is coming to the site. To do all this, one of the most important aspects is to ensure safety, quality. So the two norms that we at Afcons had initiated was safety and quality. Production came on its own. When these two are there, then you produce. So logistics in this manner was taken, one with the clients, two with the assistance of drawing boards and with the planners and with the methods to ensure that everything can be brought to the project site.
When we mobilized the site, so we had a very different experience at that site where all security was there. As a contractor site, we never have such type of experience working in such a tight security. So how to come out from that? So there was certain, Sangaldan was a major village, certain villages. So how to take those villagers with us? So I will appreciate that our project manager, he started flag hoisting in our camp, inviting those locals. Then he started celebrating Diwali as well as Holi and Eid also. And slowly, initially they were just watching, but then afterwards they started joining us, and it has become really a project which they started feeling that it is their project.
The gala event was graced by the chief guest Ashwini Vaishnav, Union Minister of Railways. In his address to the August gathering, Ashwini Vaishnav brought the national perspective, highlighting how transformative infrastructure projects like USBRL are reshaping connectivity and accelerating India's growth story.
This project exemplified and etched in people's mind by the Chenab Bridge. This is a project which has really made our country proud, and also given us a benchmark that yes, we can do very, very complex project. दुनिया में ऐसा कोई चैलेंज नहीं है जो भारत के इंजीनियर्स, भारत के टेक्नीशियंस नहीं कर सकते. ये हमने इस प्रोजेक्ट से सिद्ध करके दिखाया है. I would like to congratulate and thank and recognize the work of each and every individual, whether senior leadership level or at the worker level, who has contributed to completion of this project. Give them a big round of applause, each one of you. When this project was inaugurated, the entire world took notice of it. People got the confidence, the world got the confidence that yes, India can deliver such large and complex projects. Second, the world also came to know that under difficult challenges, under difficult circumstances, our teams, our engineers can innovate and come up with new solutions, new methods. For example, in this entire project, we devised the Himalayan tunneling method, which is a totally new way of doing tunnels in a terrain where the mountains are very young. Under all those circumstances, we have been able to innovate and do this project of USBRL. I like to call it Jammu-Srinagar link. And now the time has come to take the next big leap. And that is the vision of our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, where he has always set the bar higher and higher and higher. So now 7 more high-speed corridors will be constructed, 7 more bullet train corridors will be constructed. It will make a totally new way of transportation. It will change the economy of many areas. So we must make the best of this opportunity where we are doing things at a different scale. We have a leadership that supports us. We have a team here which understands technology, and we have a level of motivation which will help us reach our goal of Viksit Bharat. Thank you very much. Wish you all the very best.
In a special moment at the summit, Shri Vaishnav also unveiled a commemorative coffee table book that chronicles the milestones, engineering breakthroughs and partnerships behind the USBRL journey.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Afcons, I would like to acknowledge the thousands of engineers, geologists, supervisors, workers who worked in some of the most challenging terrain. For Afcons, USBRL has been more than a project. It has been a defining chapter in our journey. It tested our engineering depth, our financial resilience, and above all, our conviction. The journey of building India's infrastructure future continues. And we are now talking not only of India's infrastructure, but part of global infrastructure development. Indian companies should lead in global infrastructure development. That's a new theme. We remain committed, ready, and honored to be part of this journey. Thank you.
To understand the scale, complexity and impact of this extraordinary railway project, the summit presented 3 special films that capture the story of USBRL, from vision to engineering triumph. Here are some glimpses from the films.
KRCL 16 Bridges project, one of the most challenging terrains in India, constructed in extreme climates with altitudes ranging from 466 to 1,383 meters above sea level. These bridges stand as a testament to resilience and ingenuity, from -5 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius, and high winds that tested every phase of construction.
USBRL project has 38 tunnels, and tunnel T49 is the longest of them all. Tunnel T49 cuts through unforgiving landscape of rugged and rocky mountain peaks, connecting Sambhal and Arpinchala stations in the Ramban district. Package T49B which is 8.2 km long, has been executed by Afcon. Apart from the main tunnel, Afcons constructed other major structures like two adits, 1.1 km, an escape tunnel, 7.73 kilometers, 20 cross passages, 2 bridges, and a station yard, among other structures. As the world's highest single-arch railway bridge, rising 359 meter above Chenab riverbed and 35 meter taller than the Eiffel Tower. The Chenab Bridge stands as a beacon of human resilience and achievement. This extraordinary journey of bridging worlds and hearts, where steel arches reach for the sky and engineering marvels touch the soul. This unique structure has sent a message to the Indian engineering community and to the world at large that we in India have the technical competency and skill set to take up such challenging projects and finish them successfully.
As a build-up to the Global Business Summit 2026, a special session titled Celebrating Incredible Engineering was curated by Afcons Infrastructure, and I'm in conversation with its executive chairman, Mr. Krishnamurthy Subramaniam. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. All right, so for sake of some context setting and for the benefit of our viewers, my understanding is that Afcons Infrastructure enjoys a 6-decade-plus long legacy of delivering complex infrastructure projects across the globe. How has the brand's approach to engineering and managing risk evolved over these 60 years?
The company started in 1959. At that time, it was a Swiss company. And it had the culture since then of a company, European mindset. And what happened when, after the Swiss exited in 1977 or so, it was taken over by Indian engineers. But the culture continued. And the company used to focus extensively on engineering. And the projects that came along, construction companies developed based on the projects they get. It got a lot of complicated projects. And at every stage, we were wondering how to do it.
Absolutely.
And brought in the talent from throughout the world. We don't restrict ourselves to the people in the company. We have contacts with most of the technical people in the world. And we tap them whenever a difficult project arises and get things done. And it has become a culture over a period of time.
Well, sir, let's specifically do a deep dive on USBRL. What sets it apart? What was it designed to achieve? And has it met that objective in your view?
It's a very complex engineering project, and it had certain design features which are first time in the world, like a blast load. So it needed continuous research and development. And it took a little time than a normal project would take. But at the end of the day, when we put our brains together with collaboration of the railways and everybody, answers are found for all the issues. But commercially, yes, it was very challenging, and the company had to withstand certain additional costs. But we believe we will sort it out in the course of time. More important was we viewed it as an Indian pride and a demonstration of engineering expertise in India, that it can do world-class projects. And we used to interact with the government directly.
Sure.
And they would often check with us, would you be able to sustain this? And we said, yes, we would.
Well, sir, we applaud that effort. And another incredibly difficult aspect of your role is perhaps having to continuously manage risks, and risk in all its avatars.
Construction industry is risk management. And what we do, even before the tenders come, we interact with the authorities.
Right.
We tell them, look, these are the risks in your contracts. Sure. Why don't you simplify that? These are the international practices. This is the practice abroad. So we do a lot of engagement with the customer and try to modify his own contract documents. We tell them, why don't you adopt this method? This will save time.
Right.
So the action starts much earlier.
And India's infrastructure landscape is rapidly maturing, right? What's it going to take for EPC leaders to set themselves apart, sir? In your view, what are the leading characteristics and qualities that's going to make for a leader versus a follower in this space?
One of the key traits needed for a leader in this industry is resilience, because intra-project don't go the way they plan. They will continuous shocks and continuous changes and continuous uncertainties. You need a leadership team which can withstand these kind of shocks and move forward, and a very high level of commitment. So the kind of HR policies we should have cannot be a normal HR policy. We in fact become individual people-centric policies. If, let us say, for example, if I have to violate a provision of HR, the meeting with an engineer's requirement, I would happily do so.
Sure.
So it is very individualized approach. You need to know your people. Even your workmen, foremen are very important, and they are treated in a very special manner. And we go all out. If there is a family problem, we attend to that. It's almost treated like a family, while atmosphere is maintained professionally.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and we wish you and the larger Afcons infrastructure team all the continued success.
Thanks a lot. Pleasure meeting you.
I'm in conversation with the Managing Director of Afcons Infrastructure. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. If we were to walk down memory lane for a moment, Afcons Infrastructure has consistently delivered the most complex of infrastructure projects for over 60 years. Obviously, over these 6 decades, your engineering philosophy has evolved, and so has your approach to managing risk. But how so?
Afcons had long time had a West German by name of Dr. Kelm as a chief engineer of the company. He has imbibed a sense of technology into the body politics of the company. That has resulted in Afcons going very deep in technology and methods. Today, one of the very limited companies in India who can pride to be a technology leader in the construction industry. And over a period of time, we have further sharpened and developed the technology focus and method focus. That is how we are able to deliver complex projects very well to the satisfaction of all concerned. And in fact, that has been one of the USPs of Afcons, that deliver projects, complex projects, on or ahead of schedule.
I want to get into the nitty-gritty of what makes this project stand out, what makes it world-class, because it's considered to be one of the most complex and challenging undertakings in the field.
First of all, it creates connectivity for Jammu and Kashmir with the mainland.
Right.
It helps in creating business opportunities by transferring materials smoothly and easily. The apples from Kashmir and various other products can come to mainland. Similarly, from here, materials can go there. So in a faster manner. So that creates an economic prosperity in that region, which will help them to integrate further with the overall Indian sink. That is the major advantage. And it's a very treacherous terrain in terms of doing work. So the railways have spent a lot of time in understanding the geology and others. And contractors have also spent adequately in terms of doing things well. In the process, some difficult terrain project could be delivered very well.
And sir, by way of closing comments, what's the next strategic frontier for Afcons infrastructure? And if you had to perhaps summarize it in a single sentence, what's the legacy that you'd like for Afcons infrastructure to ultimately leave behind?
Currently, we are doing 2 landmark projects. One in Maldives, connecting 4 islands, where already Guinness Books of Records have come and witnessed the deepest pile in the world, 123 meters deep. And that will change completely the landscape of Maldives, which is funded by Indian government. So India-Maldives partnership and economics of Maldives will undergo change. And another project which we are doing is for Indian high-speed rail, the bullet train project, 21 kilometers tunnel, out of it 7 kilometers undersea. That will be an iconic project, first undersea tunnel in India. That is something will be very iconic. And we have already delivered the first underwater tunnel in India in Calcutta Metro. This undersea tunnel will be iconic. Afcons will continue to focus on nation building in terms of doing complex
technologically superior projects to deliver them on time and take this legacy to the global market to deliver global projects as well.
So we look forward to all of that and more, and we wish you and team all the very best for what lies ahead.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.